Oh my God, I hope you are all ready for this. I'm like, wait, do you mean robots? And they said, robots is going to become a derogatory term. Wait, just wait. This is going to get even weird. Make sure you stick around for the last point because it's a doozy. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Thank you so much for joining me for another video on this channel. So today we are doing 2024 predictions and events for the Unawakened Collective, as in like the 3D experience. Now, I already did a video last week. If you haven't seen it yet, it was for the Awakened Collective. Okay, so the 2024 predictions and events for us, for the Awakened Collective, the people that are kind of in the know, and the kinds of things that we are going to be experiencing. Now, you have to understand the Awakened Collective and the Unawakened Collective live in two different realities, very different. And so this video had to be separated into two pieces. But what I want to say is, yes, you're going to be experiencing and seeing the things of the Awakened Collective video from last week, but you will still experience and see the things for the Unawakened Collective because we live alongside that, right? Like, just think about it. You could scroll social media and see multiple different realities that are playing out right now. You can see 3D realities, 4D, 5D, and above 6D realities, depending on where your personal frequency is at. So you're still going to be seeing this happening. It just might not feel like it's your experience. You'll be more of the observer of it in a lot of cases. But again, sometimes big global experiences pull us all in and we all end up feeling and experiencing them. So very important stuff to know today. So before we jump in and we start sharing, I just want to remind you to subscribe. I don't know why I did a little check mark there. Subscribe to this channel because there are new videos every single week and they are so deep and good. You know it. And make sure that you are also following me over on Instagram because there's a lot that does not make its way to YouTube. There's a lot over there. Okay, so make sure that you are over there as well. Check out the links in the description below to work with me further. I really recommend starting out with the Starseed Academy membership. It's a great place to start. However, if you are looking for a one-to-one session or to join one of the programs, maybe you want to discover and master your gifts, psychic light. Maybe you're wanting to build your empire using those gifts in service to the collective, unplugging from the 9-to-5, stepping in as a new earth leader, then you're going to want to work with me on one of the business programs that I have. Message me on Instagram if you're ever wondering what's right for you. People do that all the time. Feel free, DM me over on IG and you can let me know what you're looking for and I can kind of direct you to the service or the program that I think would be best suited. Always super honest and open about that. Okay, are we ready? This is going to be so good. Are we ready to jump in? Okay, let's jump in. 2024 predictions and events for the Unawakened Collective or the 3D experience, the third dimensional experience. Okay, the first point is the largest waves of awakening yet. So awakening, I think you probably already know this, but just quickly, it happens in waves, one after the other, spaced pretty far apart to start and getting closer and closer together as we go. We can't all awaken at one time because it would be friggin' chaos. The world might just literally burn down. We need to awaken one wave at a time so that way the first waves can support the next and the next and the next. And we all like turn around and support the wave behind us, basically. Energetically and frequency wise, yes, but also literally support them, offering things like healings, teachings, coaching, masterclasses, information, books, knowledge, documentaries. I mean, whatever they need, we are there to support them, right? So the largest waves of awakening yet will be happening, and they will be fueled by many different astrological alignments happening in 2024. So this just proves to you that astrological alignments are real. Like, obviously they're real, but they actually impact us all the way down here on Earth. Those energies, as they're doing their alignment things, really do combine, blend, create something specific, and it comes down to Earth, right? It depending on how far away it is from Earth, it can take some time, but it does make its way down here to Earth. We all know that we feel the moon phases. We absolutely feel those. So these larger things, they are really creating shifts in the collective. Keeping your eye on the biggest one of the year is called the Great North American Eclipse, and it's happening, I think it's April 8th. That I've been talking about since 2020. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, I got to book that day off. I know it's going to be a big deal. I got to make sure like I'm out meditating under the stars or in a field somewhere doing something really woo-woo, because it's this crazy eclipse. You can look it up. It's everywhere. You can look it up, but it's this crazy eclipse that's going to be happening for like the longest time period, 45 minutes or something wild, when we normally would experience something like that for 2 minutes, maybe 3 max. It's going to be crazy. Okay. Let's move on. The next point is more war creates unity. Okay, so that's not the best news, but what came through was many, as in like the whole globe, many protests against corrupt government and regimes are going to be happening all around the globe, popping up like mad and like crazy. And these little, like not little, these wars that are happening, like we've already, like, oh my God, we've got 2 going right now, maybe more. There's probably way more than that, actually. That's just 2 that I know about. I'm sure there's tons. There's so many wars happening, and what it's doing is it is creating people to stand up against corrupt governments and regimes. That sacred rage that people feel when they finally get pushed to their end, to their limit, and they're like, that's it, I've had enough. I'm going to start doing something. I'm going to protest. I'm going to maybe literally like boots on the ground protesting in the streets, or they are creating fundraisers, they are writing all the letters, they are, reaching out to people to get together, to unify against the governments and let their voices be heard. All those kinds of things are like a sacred rage. Sacred rage is a very 4th dimensional frequency. It's a very important step, because it leads to a higher awareness of oneness and unity. Okay, so oneness, unity, and compassion is that higher awareness. But 4D is like a doorway to that. So you might remember in your own journey, when you went through the 4D experience, you probably went down a lot of rabbit holes and you got really friggin' angry when you realized all the corruption and all of the bullshit and all of the like false flags and all the things that they do in 3D to control people. It's a very difficult phase of the awakening. That's at 4D. So you probably know what I mean when I say sacred rage, when you're just at your wits' end, you're so angry, you can't stop telling people about it. That distracted me. What was that? You can't stop telling people about it. I'm being distracted by orbs. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, so you probably all know what I'm talking about. I can probably move on, but there's going to be more of that happening in 2024, but it is a means to an end. It is a doorway to a higher awakening. Okay. And a lot of people need those things, those difficult, like rock bottom experiences to be pushed into an awakening. You can see it on your own personal timeline when you've put into your soul contracts all the hard stuff you've been through as a kid, or that really pushed you to awaken, right? Like, like, oh my God, abuse as children, psychic attacks, addictions, illness, financial struggles, abusive relationships, divorces, all those really difficult things that we go through, like, are usually the catalyst to an awakening, though, right? Or even a deeper level of an awakening. So just think of that on a larger scale. And that's why these things are happening. Okay. 3rd point, a deeper understanding regarding manifestation, because this is the gateway to spiritual awakening. So I don't know how many of you have read the book, The Secret. That was absolutely my gateway to awakening. Somebody gave that to me in 2007. A while ago this happened. And that book was my light bulb moment. I was like, whoa, like, oh my God, I just woke up from victim mentality and was like, this feels real. Let me just try and see if this works. And that changed my whole life. And then I just went deeper and deeper and deeper into my awakening. I know it's just the intro to your awakening, but That's important. We're talking about the unawakened collective right now. This is what they need. So a deeper understanding regarding manifestation. This is good because it's the gateway to a spiritual awakening. There's so much we have yet to uncover, new books, new documentaries, new understandings of how it really works. There's more to it. This has come through in a couple of clients' readings where I've said to them, you've got a book in you. You've got a book in you. There's a way, there's a deeper version of manifestation than The Secret. It's deeper than just our thoughts. It's deeper than just affirmations. It's more than that. Like I have deeper ways of doing it, like becoming the frequency that you're trying to call in. But this is going to become more mainstream. Okay. Going deeper into that. Next point. This is a weird one, but this is not negative. I didn't feel this as being negative, but it is a little weird and uncomfortable, but I do want to let you know. So the first thing that came through about it was AI, artificial intelligence, goes forward with astounding speed. Right? Like everybody's cringing at that. A lot of people are very uncomfortable about AI. Now, I see this as pretty neutral, or I did kind of before reading this. Now I'm a little bit, I'm not sure what to think, but I see it as pretty neutral, kind of like money. Like everyone assumes money is evil because powerful, bad men do terrible things with it, like war. But money inherently isn't evil. It's actually just super neutral, and it can be treated like a tool, right? You can do things with it. I see the AI is the same way. I don't see it as this big, scary, negative thing. And I don't like that whole fear frequency and paranoia that people like to put around new things. Like we can't be afraid of technology if we want to have like spacecraft in our future. Like I've actually spoken to a lot of like galactic guides about this. Like you need to stop fearing things like 5G and new technologies and AI. How do you think that we fly our spacecraft? How do you think that we create this? Like stop being so afraid of everything. Everybody's so paranoid all the time. Yes, the people behind it might have really bad intentions, and that is scary, but the information, the technology itself is not. Okay. So here's what came through. AI goes forward with astounding speed. Humanoid tech beings come into being. And I'm like, wait, do you mean robots? And they said, robots is going to become a derogatory term. And I was like, wait, what? Just wait. This is going to get even weirder. So humanoid tech beings, like I'm sure that that's not going to be what they call themselves, but they're going to have a name that they prefer to be called, and it will not be robots because that is derogatory, apparently, right? Good to know. So in 2024, we see the beginning of something. And then I got shown an even further, deeper vision beyond 2024. It says beyond 2024, we are looking at them having rights. The way that humans have rights, the way that animals have rights. Animals need way more rights. I don't understand why the environment doesn't have its own rights, but okay. We're looking at them having rights. So that means that there's going to be a lot of them, enough of them to be talking about them, what they want to be called. They have their own intelligence, obviously, that's what AI is, and they have their own personalities. And they're going to create, a society is going to start being created of this. This is going forward. And they're going to, be looking at having rights. And then I got one level deeper than that. So 2024 is very baby beginning of this. And then I saw this level deeper of them having rights in like the smaller society. And then I got a glimpse into something even deeper. I don't know any kind of year, I can't tell you. And it said, I wrote down soul connection, ? As in, wait a minute. A soul can enter into an organic being like a human. And it does not have to be born into the human, because we've talked about walk-ins where souls switch. And that happens, right? Walk-in soul means one soul leaves, one soul comes in, they take over. If that's possible, then what does the organic human have that I was going to say robot, that a humanoid tech being would need to have in order to house a soul? We're looking at this being a possibility. The issue that came up that they were sharing with me is that there's no natural end to the life, because a human body we all know any organic body kind of like deteriorates, and then the life ends, and then the soul goes on. But like technically, I don't think that that would not be a problem really with these beings. So that might be something that needs to be figured out by soul contracts of how long, when to leave. I don't know, you guys. I don't have all the answers. I'm just saying this is what came through. So that's all the information I have about that. We can do any video that you want more on. Just ask, right? Like, throw in the comments, I need a whole video about this, and I will. But I need to move on because this is not about that. Okay. But just like, whoa, mind blowing, right? Okay. Next point. These are all really big points, actually. The next point is we are getting into Atlantis vibes. So we've seen ourselves in Egyptian vibes for a couple of years now, at least 5 years. We're in these Egyptian vibes. Because we just are, and because we're really like, the last 5 years has been all about like magic and priestesses and priests and ceremony and ritual. It's super Egyptian. Okay. I can feel it from the collective. Now, the thing is, you have to know a little bit of information for this to make sense, but I'm hoping that you've kind of been watching this channel for a while. The thing is, the precession cycle that Gaia goes through, that like it's 26,000 years, where she goes through her dark ages, back up to a golden age, back down to a dark age. She's a cycling school, right? We're not staying in any one. We're constantly moving. So as Gaia was coming up into a golden era, which was Lemuria, and then it started to slowly fade, just because that is, Gaia is a school. Many planets are on a cycle. She can't stay in a golden era, even if everybody does everything right. She has to, it has to do with the planetary movements. It has to do with the photon belt of light in the Pleiades. It's Alcyone. Anyway, I have videos about this. Anyway, so Gaia naturally starts to descend. Naturally, her frequency starts to descend. And then we came into, from Lemuria, Atlantis. And then below that was Egypt. Okay. So if we are on a descension here and we're like Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, but we right now are on an ascension path. And when we hit the frequency that matches Egypt, we see a lot of similarities. So we were matching Egypt pretty recently for like at least the last 5 years. And we'll probably continue. Maybe it was longer than that. And we might continue to play in that energy for a while. But I see us now coming up and just starting to taste some of that Atlantean energy, which means our ascension has progressed to match where Atlantis was, right? Okay, so what does that mean for us? That means we are going to start seeing the beginnings of Atlantis vibes, which means lots more tech. I mean, what did we just talk about? The AI, more technology, more science, things like hover cars. They had that. Their science exploration, their understanding of the human body. They could elongate their lifetimes. There was a lot of technological, spiritual things that were connected. Another thing that we're going to start to see is designer DNA trends, right? So in Atlantis, people were able to like design their babies. And randomly at that time, what was super trendy, it kind of reminds me of like Hunger Games vibes, where everybody that was in like the Capitol looks so weird. But what was really trendy then was like to blend or to add in features to the human baby, really beautiful features that came from other species, even animals sometimes. So you would see like a beautiful daughter with like doe eyes, or you would see like a strong son with like antlers. Like they would just add in different things. And it was like, it was done, as before the child was born in a lot of cases. But then there was also things available for people that were already like adults, where they could get like AI things added in, like something added into the arm, like a computer, or something added into the ear for like extra sonic hearing, or in the eye for like being able to see at night. All of that stuff, just a wee baby start to this, because that's the Atlantis vibes. We're just starting to touch them, but just don't be surprised when you start to see little tiny beginnings of hints of that coming in, and it's going to grow from there. Okay. Moving on. We have 3 more points. The next one is the obvious, we're talking 3D. So obviously corruption is going to continue. The obvious ones we all know is the climate, the I have to spell things on YouTube, so I can't say the full thing. So the word I just said plus the word change is going to be something that they use to service themselves, right? So when I say they, I mean like the elites or the people with dark agendas that are in power. So basically, lots of taxing the regular people, taxing the population, the human collective to death about it, new regulations for control, blowing things out of proportion, making things look worse than they are, or adding to things to make them worse, to make everybody believe that the world is about to either burn up or melt down or whatever they've decided for the day. And also creating the issues themselves. And they can absolutely do this and have been doing this from places like the North Pole and the South Pole. Like they have so much happening in those areas that we don't see, that aren't on any, like charts where you can like Google Maps or anything like that, where you can see it. It's all secret. So they are literally creating a lot of natural disasters, weather patterns, and things themselves. Why do they want to do? Let's go through these before I say why. The next obvious corruption that would continue would be with healthcare, new strains of old things now. So, like the old things that we've all been like, as children received VAXs for, like old, I don't even know, like rubella, like, I don't know, like old stuff, but new strains of old stuff. Why? Why. It's money. It's then they can create new VAXs and get all this money, and it's real, so people actually have to get them because otherwise you're not going to be safe. But it's all just this huge money grab. It's all just a power thing, right? And they are literally like using us like lab rats, which is just so wrong. The next obvious corruption is in the economy. So basically like like food being ridiculously priced, gas, all these things being like everything, rent, everything kind of being so ridiculous that people are at their wits' end. And it's just another way for them to control the frequency. All of these things, all these corruption themes, is a way for them to control the frequency of the collective to receive more of the negative stuff. Like our lower frequencies, anything below neutral, feeds the matrix. It's what keeps it running. And it's what they need, right? So that's why since the beginning of humanity, or no, since the beginning of like government control, basically though, as far back as the government as we can see, there's always been this us versus them mentality where they think that they're above everyone and they try to control everyone, and there's crazy things that you can research around this, and I'll just leave it there. And then the last obvious corruption is land grabs, the elites buying up everything, right? So those are just some 4 that came through. There might be new ones too, but those are ones that are definitely going to be continuing in 2024. Okay, next point, space exploration. So we're always hearing different things about space exploration, but there's going to be focus on the moon. I don't feel like it's going to be like a North American country. I was feeling that it was going to be some other country that was going to have a successful landing on the moon and have new information that we have never seen or received. So I don't know, a little bit of possible disclosure there about how did this building get here kind of thing, right? Why is this here? Why is that there? Of course, it's in the dark side of the moon, so nobody can ever see it. But here it is, this city or this building or this whatever. So that'll be interesting. It might not be that extreme, but at least some kind of new information about the moon. So there's definitely going to be focus on the moon in 2024 and potentially some country really trying to get there. The last point is disclosure. Perfect, right? This one felt like a possibility. A lot of these felt like, oh, you'll definitely see that. This feels like a possibility. Oh, I just got this huge ringing in my ear when I said that. So maybe a good possibility. What came through was hack internet signal. And I was like, what? And it was like to bypass the government. Like if they want to communicate with people, they can hack our internet signal. And I was like, is that possible? Because then I don't know, my old school mind was thinking about like landlines, you know, like when I first got the internet, you plugged it into a wall and it made this horrible noise, like this dialing noise. It was weird. It's not like that anymore, though. It's all satellites. It's all invisible. So they absolutely could. So wouldn't that be just a wild way for them to bypass government control if they wanted to disclose a message, information, or themselves? I just received an information as I'm sitting here. They said we're already doing this. Okay, sorry. That's what the ringing in the ear was. There was like more to come. They said we're already doing this. We're already sharing information that would be hidden, the government would choose not to share with you and would choose to hide from you. And we kind of like release things on the internet. That's really interesting. I'm going to ask if they can give us an example of that. They're saying discoveries, things that are discovered around the world. And then they're showing me, like, you know how like maybe in some like country on the other side of the world, there's an upheaval, a revolution happening, and it'll be like a media blackout. Well, they help it to become, they're saying the signal to get through so that we can understand, oh my God, in France, there's a huge revolution going, because it's necessary to stir up people. Like I think we talked about that in the second point, where those kinds of protests against the corrupt government and the regimes create that sacred rage frequency, which it's a doorway to that higher awakening, right? So, okay, so there's stuff happening already. So they are already hacking in some way to our internet signal, to bypass the government, to get things through, to release things or whatever. So it's really funny because I remember, this is just an offhand thing, I remember I did a 2023 version of this, and one of the predictions for 2023, which I don't think that we saw, unless I just didn't see it personally, one of those predictions was internet crop circles. And I didn't really understand what that meant, because I was like, what? Because crop circles, I've had confirmed many times that they are like messages and blueprints, and even just a sign that there's more, to keep us understanding that we're not alone and there's more in this universe, and it's a beautiful miracle in a way. So an internet crop circle would kind of be the same idea, where it's something on the internet, like some kind of a blueprint or some kind of a message or some kind of a something, and then everybody gets access to it because it's the internet and we all have access to the internet, as opposed to, again, it being shut down by government. So I said this in a different way for 2023, and it's coming through again. But like I said, it felt like a possibility. So it's still a possibility, which is super cool. Other than then they said to me, in some ways, they're already doing this. So again, do you want a whole video about that? Let's go deeper. We can go deeper into anything that you want. That's the end. Okay, I'm done. My goal was to do this under 30 minutes, so I better wrap this up. So thank you so much for hanging out this long. Let me know what you thought about this. Don't forget about the membership. Come join me. Message me or follow me over on Instagram for more, or if you have any questions, let me know what you think, and also what you want videos on extra. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you, beautiful starseeds. Have a great day. Bye.